Wutai Shan Mountain is considered the holy place, the Bodhi Mandala for the Bodhisattva Manjushri. Now, this is from early on. This is from really, we can say, the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th century. We have a clear understanding that this location in Shanxi province, near to Beijing, is regarded as Wutai Shan, meaning the five-terraced mountain, or in Tibetan, Riwo Tsinga, the five-peaked mountain. These are really terraces. There are no peaks at Wutai Shan. They're quite high, about 10,000 feet, but they're rolling kind of mountains, so they're very rounded at the top. So there are a number of different Wutai Shans over the history of Buddhism in China. The Shisha had their own Wutai Shan, which still exists today and still a Buddhist site. And even in Lhasa Valley, there's a Wutai Shan mountain, and there are many others. It's thought to be 5 or 6 different Wutai Shan mountains existing essentially at the same time. But one mountain has become very famous as being the main, the one, the only Wutai Shan. Now, since the 17th century, really it's the 17th, 18th century, we begin to see art depicting what are called the Five Manjushri of Wutai Shan Mountain. And these Five Manjushri are not text-based in terms of the grouping 5. They appear to be random, but somewhat existing forms of Manjushri. And then they're put together in painted compositions. And these 5 sometimes have a kind of Arapachana Manjushri as the center. Then they have a white, sometimes a blue, a red, a green, or a yellow. And they're not consistent. We have the art, we have the paintings. We have these paintings from Royal Ontario Museum in Canada, from the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, from the Han Cultural Foundation in Korea, and we have them in China, and we have them in Tibet. We have a lot of these paintings. But where do they come from? What's the basis for it? Well, according to some oral history, it was actually Chogyal Pagpa, the nephew of Sakyapandita, that first described the 5 different forms of Manjushri that occupied the 5 different plateaus or peaks of Wutai Shan Mountain. Then what we have Desi Sanggye Gyatso in the late 17th century, when he is creating a large group, bringing together a large group of scholars to sort of perfect Tibetan astrology based on the Manjushri system mixed with some Kalachakra. And this Manjushri, of course, is Manjushri of Wutai Shan Mountain, the birthplace of Buddhist astrology. And so in some visual depictions, Desi Sanggye Gyatso also has 5 Manjushri. Then in the 18th century, we have Chankya Ronpa Dorje, who was the main teacher of the Qianlong Emperor, and he spent a lot of time at Wutai Shan Mountain. And we have many paintings from this time period, specifically of these 5. So it appears as though it is merely a convention. It is merely a convention by different teachers at different times to refer to 5 different forms of Manjushri, which are special for the 5 different mountains of Wutai Shan. And they don't have to necessarily be a certain form. I mean, it's a convention. It just depends on what teacher is stipulating at what time what something should look like, or what color that Manjushri should be. So we have a lot of variation in the art of these 5 Manjushri of Wutai Shan. Sometimes it even appears as though the artist or a teacher instructing on how to create this art might also even be trying to make the colors of the 5 different Manjushri fit into a mandala context. white for the east, yellow for the south, red for the west, and green for the north. It could be that there's even bringing in this notion of mandala and directional colors. So this is really the Five Manjushri of Wutai Shan Mountain. There's really no Indian or early Tibetan textual evidence as to how these Five Manjushri should be named or how they should be depicted.